The forbidden name that unmade reality. Long ago, in a world not so different from ours, there was a village hidden deep in the valley of whispering winds. The people of this village lived simple lives, tending to their crops and animals, telling stories by the fire, and sleeping soundly under the watchful gaze of the stars. But there was one rule everyone followed without question. No one was ever to speak the name of the Old One. The Old One was a being older than time itself, a creature of shadows and whispers, who had long ago been banished from the world by the first storytellers. They had sealed its name away, burying it deep in the earth, and binding it with words of power. The villagers knew that if the name was ever spoken aloud, the Old One would return, and with it, reality itself would begin to unravel. For generations, the secret was kept safe. Parents warned their children, and elders reminded the young never to ask about the name, never to seek it out. But as it always happens with forbidden things, curiosity grew stronger with time. Among the villagers was a boy named Eli. Unlike the others, he was not content with simple warnings. He wanted to know why the name was forbidden, what power it held. His grandmother, the village storyteller, often told him, "Some doors should never be opened, Eli. Some words should never be spoken." But Eli was stubborn. He spent his days searching through old scrolls and listening to the whispers of travelers who passed through the village, hoping for even a hint of the name. One evening, as the sun dipped below the mountains, an old wanderer came to the village. His cloak was tattered, his eyes sharp like a hawk's. The villagers offered him food and shelter, but when Eli saw him, he knew this man was different. There was something in the way he carried himself, as if he knew secrets the world had forgotten. That night, while the others slept, Eli crept to the fire where the wanderer sat, staring into the flames. The old man did not seem surprised to see him. "You seek knowledge," he said, his voice like dry leaves in the wind. Eli nodded. "Tell me, boy, what is it you wish to know?" Eli hesitated. The warnings of his grandmother echoed in his mind. But his curiosity was too strong. "Want to know the name," he whispered. "A name that must not be spoken." The wanderer's eyes darkened. "That is a dangerous thing to ask for," he said. "Names have power. Some can create. Some can destroy. This one can unmake." His heart pounded. He did not back down. But he did not back down. "You need to know," he insisted. The old man studied him for a long moment. Then, with a sigh, he leaned forward. "Very well," he murmured. "But know this, once spoken, it cannot be unspoken. Once heard, it cannot be unheard." And then, in a voice so soft it was almost lost in the crackling of the fire, the wanderer whispered the name. At first, nothing happened. The night remained still. The stars shone, as they always had. Eli frowned, disappointed. Had it been a trick? But then, a cold wind blew through the village. The flames of the fire flickered unnaturally, bending as if pulled by unseen hands. Shadows lengthened, stretching farther than they should. And deep beneath the earth, something stirred. The wanderer's face turned pale. "You should not have asked," he said, rising to his feet. "Hunt, I should not have told." Without another word, he vanished into the night, leaving Eli alone. The next morning, the village awoke to a strange quiet. The birds did not sing. The wind did not whisper. And when Eli stepped outside, he saw it. The edges of the world were fading. The trees at the border of the village looked thin, like drawings on old parchment. The sky above had cracks in it, as if it were made of glass. Panic spread through the village. The elders gathered, their voices trembling. Who spoke the name?" they demanded. Eli, his hands shaking, stepped forward. "He did," he admitted. The villagers gasped. Some wept. Others shouted in anger. But the oldest among them, a woman with silver hair and deep, knowing eyes, simply nodded. "It has begun," she said. "Reality is unraveling. The old one is waking." Eli felt a crushing guilt. "What can we do?" he asked. The old woman sighed. "You say storytellers bound the name with words of power. Perhaps we can do the same. But we must act quickly." And so, as the world around them trembled, the villagers gathered. They joined hands, forming a circle at the heart of the village. The elders began to chant, their voices weaving together in an ancient song, one meant to seal away the name once more. Eli, though afraid, added his voice to theirs. The ground shook. The air hummed with energy. And then, from the shadows something emerged. A towering figure of darkness, its form shifting like smoke. The old one had come. It spoke in a voice that was not a voice, a sound that twisted the mind. "You called me," it said. "And now I will unmake you." But the villagers did not falter. Their song grew louder, stronger. The words of binding wove around the old one, tightening like chains. The creature howled, thrashing against the power of their voices. Eli, his heart pounding, poured all his strength into the chant. He thought of his grandmother's warnings, of the wanderer's fear, of his own foolishness. He would not let his mistake destroy everything. And then, silence. The old one was gone. The cracks in the sky healed. The world was whole again. The villagers collapsed, exhausted. The old woman placed a hand on Eli's shoulder. "You have learned a hard lesson," she said. "Some knowledge comes with too great a price." Eli nodded, tears in his eyes. "He will never speak the name again," he promised. And so, the secret was buried once more. The village returned to its quiet life. But from that day on, the stories told by the fire carried a new warning, not just of the name, but of the danger of curiosity without wisdom. As for Eli, he grew into a storyteller himself, passing down the tale of the forbidden name so that others would not make the same mistake. And though the old one never returned, the villagers never forgot. Some words hold power beyond understanding, and some doors should remain forever closed. And so, under the watchful gaze of the stars, the world continued, held together by silence.